Hola y bienvenidos a la Deuces Wild, motherfuckers!
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we are, dude. Good to see you through. I mean, you want to see what I go through to make this shit happen. Look at this.
Oh, baby.
Bro, I'm in a hotel in Denver, Colorado, because our flight was canceled. And so we literally just raced in from the airport. And I tell my family, Colton and Tara, I'm like, we got to get there by 5 o'clock. So 5:22,
hey, look, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Joe Manueli's on here. He was telling us you guys got delayed flights and all that sort of stuff. I'm just glad you were able to get on tonight, man. That's cool.
You ain't kidding. So, dude, last night I was watching the College World Series, and LSU, that's right in your backyard, backwoods, Louisiana, somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Oh, get out. It's a state that you just flew over, goddammit.
That's a very good point.
No, so LSU, man, they had a good year. They started out as the #1 ranked team in the country. They went through a little hiccups, in SEC play, just like everybody else. And they got their shit together there at the end of the year. And, they got the Golden Spikes Award winner on the team, Dylan Cruz. They got probably going to be the #1 pitcher in the draft is Paul Skeens, big, tall right-hander. They got a guy in the middle of the lineup, got transferred from the Carolinas by the name of Tommy White. He damn near led the nation in RBIs. So, they had a real good ball club. I know it's good for the state down here. Me personally, I got to listen to this shit now for like the next few months. So it's one of those things. But anyway, fun stuff.
So you mentioned the three guys that I actually was going to ask you about. We'll work backwards for a second. There's Tommy Tanks.
Right.
This guy went to South Carolina.
Yeah.
Led the nation, I believe, in home runs as a freshman, at least as far as freshmen were concerned. LSU then goes and gets him in the transfer portal.
Gives him a little NIL dollars, baby. NIL dollars.
Isn't it beautiful how this world works now?
Yeah. Here's the thing. We talked about this, and this was the great part of like when I was playing. I had Brett Butler, Robbie Thompson on in front of me. So whammo, here I go. And then I'm setting up Kevin Mitchell, Matt Williams, Barry Bonds behind me. You got 2 or 3 guys, 400 or more on base percentage. LSU had the same thing. They got Cruz. He's hitting in the 400s. They got 2 or 3 guys in front of them that are 360, 370. So Tommy the Tank, every time he comes up there, man, he's got bases, people running around, and, he did a great job of hitting. He's one of the guys, you and I even talked about it. He's one of the guys, when he gets 2 strikes, he goes with the no stride approach, and he comes up off the knob of the bat. And he did a lot of damage this year with 2 strikes by just putting the ball in play and shooting the ball around the field.
I love his approach. It reminds me of Jeff Bagwell, crazy wide.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he steps back to get in his launch position.
He kind of does what you said, He kind of like starts wide, and he gets back, and he like locks and loads himself. I really liked his swing a lot, from where I saw him in the spring to where I saw him, here at the end of the year. He really swung the bat well.
Yeah, dude, he's legit. So I made a video about him when he hit the walk-off homer the other night. And then after they show him, and he's up there, and he's all grizzly looking, right? I mean, he doesn't look a day over, 35. Like, literally, like my wife keeps saying, she's like, there's no way this kid's 20. There's no way this kid's 20. And he's got the long beard, and he's got the hair and the whole look and everything. And he hits the walk-off homer, but he also has this like lovable sense about him. And then you see him, I believe it must have been his parents, and he's giving him a hug. And then he's with the boys, the LSU boys. And I'm like, look, this group, I can't decide if I want to go to church with them, or I want to do a keg stand, or I want to smoke a joint with them or take a bong rip. But I kind of have a feeling like if I was with them, we do all three.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I would say probably being from down here in Louisiana, it's a pretty good chance all three of them happening. But it really was a good thing. It's a good thing for state of Louisiana. This is 3 in a row. Well, it might be more than that. I don't know. But Mississippi State 2 years ago, Ole Miss last year, LSU this year. So it's 3 in a row for the SEC. It might go back a few more. I don't know. Steven, you might want to check that one out. But while we're sitting there bullshitting a little bit, the game got going here. So Giants go out in the top of the first. Bottom of the first, Brandon Belt has an opportunity, runs in scoring position, and strikes out.
Oh.
And Ryan Walker, actually, believe it or not, he gave up 2 singles, but he also punched out 3. So he got out of a first and third 1-out jam.
Well, Ryan Walker with the Frisbee slider. I mean, that guy, again, like he was starting last Tuesday when we were on. Same sort of thing. We were talking about it. Like the guy, he's just fucking filthy. Question for you.
Especially against right-handers. So there you go.
So Dylan Cruz is going to be the #1 pick in the draft. He is the Golden Spikes.
On top of that, he also is the Golden Spikes winner this year.
Golden Spikes winner, and we are talking to a former Golden Spikes winner, correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you. 1985. So he is a member of the fraternity now.
That's a big fucking deal, man.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal. I mean, when you have a great year, but then, you sit there and you look around the country and you see what kind of baseball players are around the country. And then all of a sudden somebody says, hey, we're giving you the award for being the best. You're like, oh, man, that's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah. So talk to me about Cruz, because I look at him and he doesn't jump off the charts for me in anything that he does, right? He doesn't have, even like his Skeens, Paul Skeens, who's the other guy you're talking about, is going to be most likely #1 pitcher. He throws 100 miles per hour. He's 6'5". You watch Dylan Cruz and you're like, oh, that's a good ball player. But then you look at the fact that he got on base 72 fucking games in a row, man.
Yeah.
The mark of consistency. And I actually turned to Biscuit and I told him, I said, dude, this guy's going to be the #1 pick in the draft, and here's why.
Yeah.
And basically said, baseball isn't about who can do it one time. It's who can do it over and over and over and over and over again. And that's the guy that's the best player.
There you go. And you know what? When you go there and you watch him swing a baseball bat, and this is what I like about him, is when he hits the ball, he barrels it up all the time. He hardly ever gets jammed or hits one off the end of the bat. He barrels it up. And I like guys that work on their craft like that and get to be really good. Stephen Luker said that, Vanderbilt won it before, so it's actually 4 years in a row for the SEC. So I think he said something with COVID, though. So, but anyway.
Well, dude, they canceled the season during COVID. But the bottom line is this. What the fuck? Who's going to compete with them? The Pac-12's not, especially now that UCLA and USC are going to be leaving that.
Yeah, and then look.
To Big Ten.
And then look, Texas and Oklahoma are coming into the SEC. They want part of the TV package. So they're out of what's that, the 10 or whatever that is that they're in right now? Well, so, dude, hey, it's one of those things.
Think about this, is if you're a player, the teams that are actually making some money are also going to be the teams that are able to pay and allocate NIL dollars for these guys to come.
Yeah.
So LSU gets, I don't know, what, 5,000-7,000 a game?
Yeah, probably. You're probably right there. And for a weekend series, you get bumped up even more than that. Probably get 10.
Dude, so UCLA does like 500 to 700 on a good weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know what else too? While we're talking about this, Trey had a lot of the games on this year, during the regional, super regional, stuff like that. They had a game, LSU and Wake Forest. Skeens through, and then the guy from Wake Forest, I forget his name. Dude.
Yeah.
These guys will mowing people down left and right. And so the reason I'm saying is, Skeens is on the board, all right, because everybody knows how hard he throws. He led the nation in strikeouts and all that. But a guy like this dude from Wake Forest that throws 9 innings, shutout ball, he can actually get his draft status bumped up by how he did in a big game under pressure situation. And I don't know if that guy's draft eligible or what, but for me personally, I actually enjoyed watching that game because it was two kids just battling it out the whole time, and people down here are like, man, I hate it when there's no offense. And I was like, that's what's called a pitching duel. And that's what we enjoy about baseball sometimes. I like guys toeing the slab and getting freaking after it,
Dude, I'm with you. I honestly, like, people were blowing my phone up saying that was the best baseball game they've ever watched.
Yeah.
And it goes to show you that there could be people that actually still love baseball without having it be a 10-9 affair to be able to see all these home runs and everything else. Right. When you had a pitching matchup that was that good. And dude, the kid from Wake was dealing. He was like 94 miles per hour, but he was sinking it.
He had that shit moving in on him. He was tying up them right-handers, So Crudelli comes on here. I can't believe you haven't talked to Crudelli about this. He wants to know why they don't use wood in college. Hey, Mama Moo, what's happening?
I'm good. I brought you some smell-o-vision.
Oh, yeah, baby. Go to it.
Ledge waffle with bacon and bourbon syrup.
Okay.
And I'm
Take that with you. Take that with you. Nice job, Mom.
What happened to the top of the
It spilled. It was hard.
Do you have a napkin?
You'll live.
No. This is the nothing.
So anyway, your boy Crudelli just jumped in here and he's like, why don't they swing wood in college? All right.
Yeah.
Can you please address that subject, or do you want me to address that?
I mean, it's all advertising dollars. That's it.
Come on. Not only that, Crudelli, dude, these guys that operate in college, all right, are not as good as the guys that operate in the pro. They're going to break all kinds of bats. A legitimate dozen bats right now is, oh God, I want to say it's $1,500 if you get good professional wood. And, college, they're going to get trash lumber. So they're going to break even more. And so it's not feasible as far as the prices go. Plus, on top of that, all of these college coaches sign deals with these, baseball bat companies, whether it be Marucci, Easton, DeMarini, whoever it is, they sign deals with them and they get a certain number of bats free so they don't have to pay for nothing.
Well, this is what I got to believe is going to happen going forward, too, because now that you have the whole NIL thing, I have to imagine that players are going to get paid to use bats.
Oh, I guarantee you they are. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Or if you're coming in, like, for example, UCLA was always Easton. If you're going to come to UCLA, you're going to swing Easton, but you're going to get paid a certain amount of money, and they're going to pool that money out. The college coaches, Thrill, they're making 7 figures, dude. The top college coaches.
Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, yeah, they are. Here's another one for you, too, okay? So Marucci, which is literally right down the street, it's 5-6 miles from me. I was an investor until the company got bought out. We got paid and all that. But they're being run by Kurt Ainsworth, who's an LSU pitcher, was in the Giants organization, who you know well. And, so he goes to LSU and he's like, hey, we want you to swing, Marucci. Well, when Paul Maneri was there, he was getting paid by DeMarini, so they never swung Marucci. As soon as Maneri goes out of there, Johnson comes in. They pay Johnson, whammo. Now, every time somebody comes up to home plate in the World Series, Marucci. It's just straight advertising dollars for them.
It is, and then what's really big is that it's the one market, and I imagine more so in the SEC than here, but I used to go to a Stanford game, and I used to see Stanford swinging Louisville TPXs. And so as a kid, I'm like, oh, I need to get a Louisville TPX. So, the whole thing is centered around dollars and cents. It's nice to see the kids getting a little bigger piece of that.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one for you. Okay. We talk about this. All right. When you are playing defense and you're playing defense behind a guy, let's just say Logan Webb. We'll just say that for the hell of it. All right. If you're playing behind Logan Webb, you ought to start figuring out patterns. All right. He likes to throw here with this pitch. He likes to go here with this pitch. And you can kind of position yourself accordingly. All right. Boom. So the reason I'm bringing this up, you fast forward, the Giants are facing Kevin Gosman, who, was the ace of the staff. He had all kinds of wins, all that. Winds up going free agency. He's got 2 innings pitched. He's got 5 punch-outs already. Shouldn't you have paid attention to how he pitches? And you should be looking for certain pitches in certain locations, in certain counts, and not striking out all the time. I don't get it.
The strikeout's an issue, man. And you and I have gone back and forth about this. And you mentioned Tommy Tanks. And here's the best power hitter in college baseball.
Yeah.
Yet he gets to 2 strikes. And he spreads out and he comes up off the knob. And if you actually look at Tommy Tanks' swing, there's some vertical movement to it, but it's so short. It's just like,
yeah.
That's what impressed me so much about him. The ability to repeat that over and over and over and over again.
So he is kind of what you and I talked about before. He's quick to the zone and he stays in it for a little period of time. Then he gets out of it. All right. Yeah. So that's where you think he's vertical. He's not vertical until after he makes contact and he's getting out of it.
Yeah. A couple of things. So the Giants are 8-2 over their last 10. Obviously, they've been playing really good baseball.
Yes.
2.5 back of the Diamondbacks. Dude, the Dodgers, who we're going to go see tonight, they're fucking reeling, man. This is a team that I think there might be, for the first time in it seems like a decade plus, a changing of the guard up top at the NL West.
Well, and then not only that, too, the Dodgers are going through a bad injury streak right now, especially with their pitching staff. I saw them play the Sunday night game against Houston the other day, and they had, I want to say, like 4 starters down. And, when you come into the season, all of a sudden, you start throwing kids out there. It's like, they're going to make a few mistakes. And sure enough, on that Sunday night game, they did, and Houston was able to come back on them.
Did you ever get a chance, as we watched Kevin Gosman go against the Giants, and obviously Brandon Belt go against the Giants, did you ever get a chance to play against the Giants when you were with Texas?
Yeah. Yeah. So we were the first ever interleague game, the Rangers and the Giants. And it was in Arlington. They had Willie Mays come out. Willie Mays threw out the first pitch and all that. So I played against the Giants at least twice with the Rangers, maybe 3 times with the Rangers. And then when I went to Baltimore, I missed them. And then when I went to St. Louis, they had just got through playing the Giants. So we didn't play Giants the rest of the year. So I played against the Giants 2 or 3 times.
What was that experience like?
For me personally, it was kind of neat, because everybody really welcomed me back with open arms and all that sort of stuff. And I know I was in the on deck circle at Candlestick, and I'm facing Woody Reuter, Kirk Reuter.
Yep.
And there's about 4 or 5 guys there behind the on deck circle, and they're just giving me a ration of shit, just like they would any other visiting team, and I'm having fun with it and all that sort of stuff. And literally I go up there and Reader throws me a first pitch slider and I'm sitting on it and I take him out of Candlestick, right? And I touch home plate and I come back and I walk right behind the on deck circle. I said, "You guys keep talking shit. I'll keep doing this to him all day long."
Dude.
And they never said a word the rest of the game, dude.
So you came back to Candlestick
Yeah.
and went deep.
Yeah.
First at bat?
I don't know whether it was first at bat or his first game because I remember facing Reader. So
the year had to have been like 1994, 5.
it was the first interleague game was 96. So it was either 96 or 97 right in there.
Dude, it's funny because I have this void period in my life with the Giants, and it coincided with you leaving, and
Right.
it also coincided with me going off to play college baseball, because
Right.
all of a sudden you stopped paying attention to, my fandom was here, and then as you know, when you start doing this shit yourself, you're like, okay, well, this is where my energy is going to be. I did come back one year at UCLA. I remember coming home from Cape Cod, and it was actually 90. I want to say it's like 97, and that's when the Giants and Dodgers were coming down the stretch, and it was a really tight race. And we showed up in the parking lot to get bleacher tickets at like 10 in the morning, and we stayed and we started drinking at 10 in the morning too, dude. 40s, like whatever, of course, like on and on all day, hammer, and eventually get into the stadium. We get front row of the bleachers, which is what we wanted. And Barry Bonds hit the pirouette home run where he hit it, and then he did a little spin. And I jumped up like this and like slipped. And my boys were sitting right there, so they kind of caught me. And then next thing you know, I was getting body passed up and down the bleachers like I was at a fucking rock concert, man. It was wild.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny right there. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
So yeah, what else you
Bailey,
got going?
So Patrick Bailey just threw out Whit Merrifield at second base. The one thing about Patrick Bailey that you're going to see from him is he's got an unbelievably quick release, and he's pretty damn accurate. So for a guy, and you know this because you did all those stuff, but for the everybody in the chat room, from the time the catcher catches it to he throws to the second baseman catches it and tags, if you are a 2 seconds flat, you're, believe it or not, kind of decent, but you're on the slow side of what these guys are doing now. And we got like Patrick Bailey, he's probably a 1.9. Sometimes he's a 1.85. We got 2 kids right now, and I've seen both of them here this year already. We got 2 kids that are 1.8 down to second base. It is amazing how quick these kids are getting rid of the ball and getting it down yonder.
I mean, a lot of it is the transfer. I mean, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Just walk
so
around and get catch.
Here's one of the things.
Good.
Yeah, so here's one of the things that Pudge Rodriguez did. First off, he was the most accurate catcher I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he put everything right on the bag. But when the pitch was coming, he'd like turn his feet, and he'd get his feet in throwing position to where all he's got to do is catch it and get rid of it. So he kind of eliminated a whole move, and he was by far one of the best.
Dude, do you hear that?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I'm talking to Colton because he's sitting behind this wall.
Oh.
And that's what he does. He moves his feet in position.
Yeah.
When he gets it, his feet are already there. It was wild, Will. So we just got back from this USA baseball event where Let Them Play was invited. They invited the 24 top travel ball teams in the country to come out and compete. And we ended up taking home a bronze medal. So
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
how did Colton like the experience?
Loved it. He played well. It was really cool, man. I mean, he got off to a little bit of a slow start, and then helped us win a lot of games. It was one of those things where they were using USA bats, so they were using the shit bats. Like, they're worse than wood. I'm not kidding you. You're better off using a wood bat. But it totally changed the game because in a normal travel ball world, I don't know, 10 runs is probably average, right? I got to think like our team, we got to average 12 runs a game, maybe more. and this is playing against good competition. At this event, I bet you like the average runs per team was 4 or 5. So you're seeing a lot of really good baseball games.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
So I just looked. They had it on the Giants website. This is right before you guys got on, but they, I don't look at this way. I take it for a grain of salt. But they updated the top 100 prospects, and we got Kyle Harrison's at 14, Luciano's at 17. Matos is at 72, but Matos is already in the big leagues and playing. And in fact, he's hitting right now.
I would say he's hitting right now.
Yeah. And but then we got somebody else. I don't know. I forgot who else. But
look at these numbers, man. Go ahead.
But if I look, and I told you this, and I've told everybody in the chat room, if I look at, the talent that I'm seeing on the field, yeah, we might not have the 100 top picks that everybody's sitting there freaking going crazy about, but I'm excited about a lot of the kids in the organization that are, dude, I'm telling you right now, the guy you're going to see probably before the end of the year, if we get a few more guys hurt, you're going to see kid Tyler Fitzgerald. He's hitting 300 in AAA. He's got 10 home runs. He's got 15 stolen bases, hadn't been caught yet. And he plays all over the infield. He plays every position. And then they actually, believe it or not, they chunked him out in center field the other night. So, that's following along with Kapler and Farhan when they do you got to be a multiple position guy. So they got him playing all over the place.
Well, that's a good thing though, right?
Yeah, I like it, but that also goes back to, with like Biscuit would be a perfect example. I like guys that, and it's no secret. They get stuck in a spot in the lineup, and that's your spot. You earned it. You earned the power position, or you earned the leadoff guy position, or whatever it is. Oh, Mom's unpacking. She's going to town.
Incredible.
I'm busted. Sorry.
You got it, man. You got it. Go ahead on.
Whatever you want. Got a little striptease going on in the background. Jeez.
I'm liking it. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Dude, but I'm looking at.
By the way, Tara, while you're there, Ella had a pageant the other day, and she got second runner-up.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so she did good, looked beautiful, all that sort of stuff. But she did good. She was disappointed, but at the end of things, she also, made a lot of progress in certain areas. So she had a lot of fun.
She had a great run at Miss Louisiana recently, didn't she?
Yeah. So she was third runner-up, the other day. She was third runner-up in state too. So she's getting real consistent. She's right there at the top. Just need to
put yourself in the top 5, and then they'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, she's got to get past the crookedness of the system that she's working in, because they're cheating their asses off down there.
I don't like it. It's struggling. The system itself struggling a little bit right now. But
I agree. Ever since it's like, I guess you want to say, different people have bought the pageants, and there's like not one specific pageant. There's like 8 different pageants.
Yeah, it's rough. We went to
Miss USA, when she was there, was owned by Donald Trump.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And so Trump, I heard tell the story, paid the girls a visit.
Oh. Those changes can be pretty quick in the backstage. Like, you have like 45 seconds to go from an evening gown into your swimsuit. You make the top 10. So you're back. You're half naked before you're even in the door. And if you're putting on your swimsuit, you're getting all the way there, right? And that's always when he would make his pop-ins. But
he's not stupid.
No. But it was like,
I do the same thing. I'm sorry.
Everybody all right? How's it going back here? Everybody got everything they need? And we're like, we're good.
Here. Let me tuck this one in. See you later, Jack. Here you go.
Hey, can you get my tape in the back? Yeah. mean,
Hey, Donna, while you're here, unzip me.
yeah. As much as it sounds ridiculous to have that man walking through a bunch of naked women, I didn't feel foul, I guess. Like he wasn't leering. He was there for checking in on his investment, right? Like, dude.
I get it. So Tara probably had this back then, but this was kind of a little bit smaller pageant, and so they had some kids, I guess you want to say, volunteer to help the girls up on stage and do whatever and all that stuff. So it's a bunch of like you could tell they were high school baseball players, and Lisa's like, "What do you think about that?" And I go, "Shit, those guys did the right thing, being around all these gorgeous girls and getting a chance to help."
My volunteer hours.
Yeah, no, volunteering. I'll do it.
My first local farewell, my godbrother took me out onto stage on his Harley. She did the song from Major League, the Wild Thing song, and he took me out on the stage in his Harley. And I mean, he's like my brother, so everybody else, he's like, "Why do you think I'm here?"
That's awesome. But I wanted to tell you that too while you were there. So
congratulations, Alex.
Thanks. Yeah, the next one I think she's got is state, which is probably January, February, something like that. So she's got some time.
It's always brutal when they make it after the holidays, though, man.
Yep.
People don't realize, and I obviously did. I just thought it was a bunch of hot chicks getting up there and, evening gown, swimsuit. Like, there is so much more that actually goes into that. And I learned that from, obviously Tara, but like Pam, her coach, Double Sky Point, just recently passed away. But I couldn't believe the effort that went into it. And, whether you want to call it a sport or not,
it's a competition.
I say not, but it is a fucking competition, man. Like,
but then here's another thing. And I think this is funny. I think this is absolutely funny. But, Tara's not small. Tara's what, 5'8", something like that. You stick them in those freaking stripper shoes, dude. These guys can dunk. All right, I swear to God. Ella's like 5'5", and all of a sudden she's like looking me in the eye. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I think it's funny as shit.
I always felt like it was a competition. I mean, you're definitely training for competition, but it was about being, you can call it cliche or whatever, but finding your best you.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be, if somebody's looking for, a green-eyed redhead that's 5'2", I am not their call, right? Like I'm not fitting that mold, but I can go in and know I did everything I could do to own my space and be my best. And
and then here it is, and this would be kind of similar for me and you, EB, would be, having that confidence when we walk up to the plate. That's what these girls are doing. They're having that confidence. I mean, seriously, you are going to have a young girl in her 20s, whatever it is, and she's going to have a bikini on and 6-inch heels, parading her ass up and down this walkway and walking with confidence. And, seeing these girls that do these pageants, seeing them grow, it's amazing. It's unbelievable how much confidence they got now. Yeah.
And as a young woman, it's one thing you really need. If you're going to fight any of those battles, you got to feel like you can, put it down. And that it's a great way to do it, whether you win or not. Like, that's not what it's about. It's conquering those fears. And, we all have our things that we're better at. I'm not terribly glamorous. And so I had to find some success in, the interview and the question portion. And, like the training, we'd be on family vacation in Hawaii, and the game of the day would be try and stump Tara with your questions, And
the queen of useless knowledge, we call her.
Hey, look, they hit him with those questions up there out of the clear blue. You're like, really? Seriously? And now
a lot of them are fucking hard too, man.
Well, like, now, it's all about social media, or it's the, whatever, kind of subject that's controversial. That's what they're going to hit them with. And I'm like, really? Seriously? You don't need to talk about that. I was
definitely a politics era. I feel like now it's a little more trends in social media, which I would have bombed because I'm not good at that stuff at all. But it's, it was about how to give your opinion without excluding someone from the conversation. Don't back away from who you are, but say what you got to say.
And I think that's the biggest thing, because, I think this is a lesson not only in pageants but also in baseball and in life is what Tara said earlier about you're not going to be able to please everybody.
Yeah,
so go after your crowd. Go at like you do you, and if you stay true and authentic to who you are and what you do, and you have confidence in that, and you're able to execute that, then that's it. Everything else is out of your hands. It's all about controlling the things that are within your control. So it's funny because when she went to Miss USA as Miss California, Tom Brady was one of the judges, and so
he's got a lot of cred.
Yeah,
I was playing football against this guy like only a few years earlier, and now he's up there and he's judging my wife on the Miss USA thing.
We weren't married yet.
And then so she went, but then she ended up, she was in the top 10, but then that was it. She didn't make the top 5.
He scored me well.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just going to say,
yeah.
Maybe she wasn't his type.
Yeah. Jermaine Jackson didn't care for my style. He was my least favorite judge. We were talking to Biscuit earlier. It was like he was talking about old school coaches in baseball versus new school coaches. I said, you're not old school, you're not new school, you're U school. Like you've got a little bit of both, and honor the game, but go out and find your groove, dude. Yeah. Everybody's got a different thing.
And then not only that, you sit there and we talking about you on the stage, Eric on the field. And then now you get a chance to see, Colton coming up, and enjoying himself and, running out there. And, we even talked about this on one of the shows, talking about running out there with USA on your chest. That takes it to a whole different level. It's like, man, I'm loving life right there. I'm loving life. That's the next generation. Bring it on, boys. Let's go.
It was really, really neat.
So, dude, right here, I'm looking at it. Gossman, he's gone 3 innings so far.
Yeah, and punched out 6.
He's given up nothing, bro.
Nothing. Yeah. And then I thought he was going to be throwing a lot of splits to these guys. He's not. He's throwing a lot of fastballs.
Well,
isn't that kind of the idea, though? However they think that they're going to attack you, you just come after them. Yeah. The opposite. Like the better teams we face, whenever it's time to throw a fastball, throw a curveball. Whenever it's time to throw a curveball, let's throw a fastball.
Hey, I tell you what. When you guys start, and now I'm talking to everybody in the chat room here. When you guys start watching baseball from now on, all right, just pay attention to the counts and the pitches that are thrown. Watch what's happening now in the game of baseball. 2-1, 1-0, 3-2 especially, all off speed. Breaking balls, change up, shit like that. Nobody ever goes, whoa, fastball. Here's a perfect example, all right? Watching whether it be the College World Series, whether it's high school, whether it's, watch how many times a team goes out there, scores 1, 2, maybe 3 runs, whatever. The first pitch, the next batter, boom, breaking ball. I'm like, what are you doing? Throw a freaking fastball through there. Maybe you'll hit a ball in center field. 1 pitch, 1 out. Here we go. Let's go. But instead, they just drag the shit on,
Well, so a couple things on this. Number one, the Tommy Tanks thing. When he hit the walk-off homer, they asked him right after. They said, "What were you looking for?" He's like, "I was looking for a heater," and he goes, "I didn't get it, but I was looking for a heater." And they threw him a slider. And this is what we try to teach the kids basically at this age: sit fastball away. Because that's going to keep you on the slider. You'll see the pop. It'll be a fastball. Right? No. Oh, hanger. And Tommy Tank said, "I just let my hands work for me." And it's like, that's it.
Ta-da!
How about that?
How about this one? You and I even talked about this, all right? So when you go to hit a baseball, and for everybody in the audience right here, when you hit a baseball and you keep your hands inside the ball, and the barrel of the bat follows your hands. For a breaking ball that's breaking into you, you're going to get the ball in the air. If you keep your hands inside of a breaking ball, ball goes in the air. And the guys that are having problems are the guys that kind of surround it, give it one of these numbers, and they beat the ball in the dirt. they hook it, foul, all that sort of stuff. But hitting a breaking ball and getting it in the air is actually a piece of cake if you keep your hands inside the ball.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, especially from the left side too. You see it a lot, like the smothered and covered.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. You give it one of those numbers instead of going wham and going all the way through it, and the ball goes pew, straight up. Barry and I talked about that all the time, because I was like, B, how much time are you sitting breaking ball? And he and I both talked about it. I said, because I'm sitting at least 50, 60%. He goes, I'm right there with you, Thrill. He says, I'll pick my spots. He says, I'll pick my spots and get after the fastball. He said, but if they throw that stupid hanging break ball, he says, I'm all over it. And I said, yeah, right there with you, bro.
I wondered that because when you watch Barry hit, I felt like he was better than everybody else because he could wait longer than everybody else to decide whether or not he was going to swing because he was so quick. And so he'd be up here, here, and all of a sudden he gets a little low. And it's like, fastball, yeah, maybe not. Oh, breaking ball, yeah, sure. Whack. I just the ability to see it and to recognize and not have to make the decision. Whereas you see other people, you go out there and you cheat, right? And when you're doing shitty, you end up cheating more and more and more. And that's why I tell the boys, the worst contact you could possibly make is end of the bat contact because you're jumping at it. You don't trust it. Good hitters get jammed, period. That's it, because they have the ability at least to have the confidence to wait and let the ball travel. So
Tony Gwynn and I had that exact conversation. He's like, are you afraid to get jammed? And I said, not really. And he goes, you shouldn't be. He said, because the longer you can wait, and he said, especially when you keep your hands inside of it, he said, you can actually push through and guide it, and if you ever watch Tony hit, he got a lot of line drive base hits. Don't get me wrong. But he also got a boatload of doinkers and jam shots and stuff like that. And he told me, and I watched him do it, and I started practicing it. He told me a lot of the doinkers fall in if you do the shit right. And so you got to stay in the zone. You got to stay inside the ball, all that sort of stuff. And so that's why when I go work with these kids, I go work with the minor leaguers, I'm talking, about staying through the zone and staying long through the zone, because the more you're in through the zone, the better stuff happens. You get better contact. Your timing gets better. The whole works.
Tony Gwynn did not give a fuck about exit velocity.
Hell
Tony
no.
Gwynn cared about hit.
I told our stat people that one day. They're like, you have to have a 20 something exit launch angle velocity, whatever. I don't know. I told them, I said, well, then I said, I tell you what, you'd have hated freaking Tony Gwynn because he had a -5 because all he did was hit absolute rocket ground balls through the infield. And he got 3,300 hits, moron.
What do they think of Luis Ariz?
Oh, God. Hey, they did a special on him earlier today. I was kind of watching it, and I was like, oh, my God, that's the first time I've seen 15 or 20 swings of his in a row. I'm like, it's like looking at Tony Gwynn over again. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, I love this freaking kid. I love this kid right here. They showed me some things he had. I'm like, yeah, finally.
I'm going to send you a video that I did early in the year comparing Luis Ariz to Tony Gwynn. I mean, this was a batting champion. Luis Ariz, nobody knew him, but he was a batting champion up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
There's a picture of his thrill. That exactly what you were just talking about, where I just saw this, and I think the picture was from yesterday. I've been trying to look it up online and pull it out. But you in that same position. Imagine you're here, right? And exactly what we were talking about. And this ball was bearing in on his hands, and he had his hands pulled all the way through with his head on the ball like that, completely on the fucking barrel, and you shooting it to left field. And it was like this slow motion shot. I'm like, dude, no one does that anymore. Nobody.
No.
Because if you have any of this, you'll never do that. Ever.
Exactly. And so that's why when, you and I do our little thing in the garage every now and then, I'll show you guys that. I'll show you how you keep your hands inside of it, and the barrel kind of comes from behind your hands, but you're going to make solid contact all the time. And people don't get it. They're like, nah, get it off of me. Well, you get it off of you and you're freaking going back to the dugout,
Yeah,
So.
dude, I got about like 5 more minutes tops because we got these expensive tickets that I bought online to go to this game tonight.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to take advantage of them. Anything else? Anything else you got on your mind? Anything else you want to talk about? Giants related? I mean, is Gossman going to throw a fucking perfect game tonight?
No, I don't think so. But the one thing, the Giants have had 2 stretches now. They went, I don't know, what was it, 10 out of 13? They came from no man's land to like 6 games back. Now all of a sudden they've won 9 in a row, and however many they've won here since then. And now they're 2.5 games back. So now you are in the middle of it. So whatever the little wave is that they're on, freaking ride that wave, brother. Ride that wave.
Yeah, this will be interesting tonight because, well, we're the top of the 4th now, so they got a runner on base. Is it over? Did they get a hit?
No, guy walked. J.D. Davis walked.
So there goes.
Wade struck out, and Jock Peterson struck out, and J.D. Davis just walked.
What about Jock Peterson's resurgence? He's been killing it.
Yeah, I mean, he's come back. He's come back from being on the IL, and it seems like he got healthy when he was gone, and he's been a big boost for the team. Not only hitting the long ball, but being in the lineup every day.
Thrill, I look at this lineup: Wade Jr., Peterson, Davis, Conforto, Sable, Estrada, Bailey, Crawford, Matos. It's got the blend, the right blend, and you look at the OPS numbers down the board. They're all pretty consistent. Yeah.
No, they starting to get. It looks like they're getting a little bit of team chemistry because they got the same guys there now. As far as offensively goes, we're having some pitching problems as far as injuries and stuff like that. Cobb, but Alex Wood jumped back in the rotation here after Walker got out. He's thrown 2 innings, but then we having these little nagging injuries. Haniger broke a forearm. Yastrzemski, he had a hamstring. He had to come out. He's on the IL. Wilmer Flores fouled the ball off of his foot. He's on the IL. So we got to get away from these little nitpicking injuries and keep this consistency and keep this chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game, is to try to stay healthy. But I think also the name of the game is to make sure that you have reinforcements to take over. When one guy goes down, you got to be able to pick it back up. I mean, another thing, this is what we learned this past weekend. We're playing with these shitty USA bats, is that what you said earlier sometimes, because I'm looking at Gossman's pitch count. He's at 68. And I mean, just right now, there's 0 chance he'll throw a no-hitter because he's at 68 fucking pitches.
Yeah.
0 chance. They'll never let him go. And
right.
Thrill, I actually got a request to ask you about Nolan Ryan's, I think it was 200 and some odd game complete game with 1 hitter or something. Dude, it was in 1974. He had 235 pitches. Just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
What is it possible? Why? And then you see Skeens, right? He threw 120 pitches. And He was ready to come back last night.
Yeah.
Why is it that we don't? And now we're seeing more arm injuries than ever. Why is it that we don't train these guys up anymore?
You got me there. I don't know. I mean, I personally, I had this discussion with Gaylord Perry when Gaylord was living. He said I'd throw 175, 180 pitches, no problems. He said because I didn't want the bullpen coming in. He said I was better than everybody in the bullpen. So that was that mentality back then. Now everybody is into the the pitch count and all that sort of stuff. Personally, hey, you got 5 days off. Freaking get after it. I'll recover in 5 days. I promise you that. So I don't know.
We're only as good as what we train for. It's
Yep.
like if you train for a sprint, you're going to be a good sprinter. But all you're going to be able to do is run a sprint. You can't go run 100 miles.
Yeah, you're right. And then, hey, while Tommy Aliotti just brought it up online, I'm getting ready to go see Eugene. I'm going to miss next week's show. And on top of that, it's 4th of July. So happy 4th of July to all of you guys a little bit early. But we got an outfielder by the name of Barracoto. He's hitting 300, got 14 homers. He's doing real well. He is a guy who's, really come along. They actually, believe it or not, they're trying to make him a first baseman too. So I'm going to have to work with him there. We got some pitchers that just got called up from San Jose. One of them is Jack Choate. And then the other kid, oh God, what's his name? Damn it. I forgot his name. But one's throwing 98. Choate is another Randy Johnson lookalike, like 6'9", like high 3/4, but he doesn't throw 98 like Randy did, but he throws 93, 94. And so we got, like I said, through this organization, we got plenty of prospects. So when I get back from Eugene, I'll have a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of kids that have a lot of promise down the road. You remember Rodney McRae, the guy that ran through the wall?
Of course.
His kid's starting center field at Grant McRae in Eugene.
Come on.
Yeah, so I'll see Grant McRae too. So.
And Rodney McRae ran through the wall in Portland.
Yeah.
And that's where I made my professional debut.
Yep. All right, man. Well, I know you guys got to do the ball game. Hey, Biscuit, have a good one, pal. Enjoy yourself, man.
Thank you.
All right, brother.
Thank
All
you.
right, dude. Happy 4th to you and the fam, everyone else out there.
You got it. Y'all have fun. Enjoyed it. And as usual,